In this video, we are going to be testing out, can the internal gyros in this Radiolink and DumboRC controller, are those good enough to control a proper rear-wheel drive RC drift car, or do you really need a dedicated drift gyro? Welcome to the channel. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. On the channel, you'll find me doing everything from bashing and crawling, plus drifting and racing, plus product review videos and how-tos. Today, I'm very excited about this video. It's something I've been wanting to do for months and months. What we have here today, this is the newest, this is the Radiolink RC6GS V2. This is one of our competitors up here. It comes with basically their fanciest receiver that they make. Supposed to be very high-end precision gyro inside this. So we're gonna put this in my drift car and see, can it actually control a proper rear-wheel drive drift car? My DumboRC, this is the standard 6-channel version X6FG receiver that comes with it. Also a more basic built-in gyro with it. How well does that do? And we're going to be testing all those versus this Futaba GYD 450, which has been my go-to best gyro that I have found for any kind of rear-wheel drive RC drift car. Two things that I wanted to put in this video that I was not able to get in was both Traxxas TSM and the Spektrum AVC. So both of those are things that maybe you have one of these controllers laying around. Both of them do some level of steering correction. From all the research that I have done, they basically have a similar gyro feel and an action, like methodology and programming, to something that we'll see in this Radiolink. So if the Radiolink works, then the Traxxas or the Spektrum should also work. I just wasn't able to include them in this test today. In order to test each one of these gyro kind of capabilities, I'm going to go through 3 tests. First is a circle to see how steady it can hold a drift circle. Second is a figure 8, which helps with those transitions. And then lastly is what I call the big C, which is a lot of really tight transitions and then one big sweeping corner. To get us started, I'm going to be using the Futaba as a baseline known kind of scenario, and then we'll go to the other controllers from there. So as expected, as known, really easy, very smooth. A couple guys in my local truck, we refer to this as the easy button. You put that Futaba in there and man, it makes your drift so much smoother and so much easier to control. I'm able to do circles, the figure 8, the big C. I can place the car exactly where I want it on any line, like so good. Let's go to that Radiolink. Let's see how good it does. What I've done is I have put this R7FG from Radiolink just mounted right here. Should be very stable location on the chassis, should have no issue with the gyro function. All I did was move the servo wire from my gyro straight to channel 1, and I moved the ESC wire straight from my receiver to channel 2. So I now have steering and I have throttle, everything works correctly. You'll notice I'm in the green LED function, which is the non-gyro function, which is how it comes from the factory. So per the instruction manuals, hitting the button on the front here 3 times should turn this to red, which will be enabling the gyro, and we'll go from there. All right, so it flashed and now the gyro works. You'll see that the gyro is actually reversed. So as the car swings to the right, I should have that gyro correcting in the direction of the slide, and instead it's moving opposite. Let me drive it real quick with you like this so you can see how bad that is. So when you have that gyro reversed, here's what happens. Literally the car's not even drivable. Look, I'm not even touching it. But because the gyro is sensing the activity, it's turning with the skid, it will literally be basically undrivable. If I turn the wheel, whichever way it goes, it's gonna force it that way. Literally undrivable. In order to fix that, we press this button twice. 2. Okay, that should reverse it per the instructions. Now look at that. Now, if I swing to the right, whoop, the wheels correct that way. Very awesome. All right, now this might actually have some meaning for us now. The last thing that we look at here, hopefully you can see this. This is the main screen. If we hit exit 1 time, then you can see the 6 channels and where they're currently set. Now this knob here on the side will actually adjust the gyro sensitivity. So all the way clockwise is +100. You can turn it down to 0, and you can actually go -100, which is really good because that means this radio should be able to control this GYD 450 into AVCS mode. That is very exciting. So with all that set, I also came in and set the endpoint specifically for the steering to make sure we didn't fry my beautiful, beautiful servo that we have here, this RWD. We're gonna set this car down. We're gonna give it a shot. We are starting out. I have the gyro set at +85. And you just can't control it. I'm trying to turn hard left here. And look, it is drifting. You can get it to drift. But that's literally me turning full left. And you notice we got a bunch of gyro wobble there. I can't actually control the vehicle based on how much gyro wobble there is. So, unless you have an AVCS mode like on the Futaba gyro, the only thing you can do is turn down your gyro gain. So we're going to turn it down about 45 and try it there. Again, hard left, and it just won't, the gyro's just overriding it. You see when I'm stopped here, I still have full turn both directions, but once I get going, the gyro is it's just going crazy. It doesn't know what to do, and so it is, it's just taking over the steering 100%. It just won't turn. Let me keep, so we're gonna knocking that gyro down now to about 15%. So now what I'm going to do, what I noticed here is if I go into the negative with the gyro sensitivity here on the controller, what it does, once you get anything past 0, it just turns it off. It's just physically not working anymore. It's as if you have 0 gyro. All right, final thoughts with the Radiolink. Man, if I'm honest, after I turned the camera off, I've been here for probably another 20-30 minutes just trying to figure out like what settings get it to where this gyro really works. What you saw is that when we started, gyro gain way up 80 to 100%. It was very high sensitivity, just gyro wobble all over the place, couldn't even control the car, like couldn't even at slow speed without drifting turn and go in a circle, which is the typical starting of a trial, just driving around kind of stuff. It was so sensitive that it was just kind of going crazy. I had to get that gyro gain turned all the way down under 20% in order to just even get it even remotely drivable. And even then, once I got it into a slide, like on the circle, it would do a circle. It would do the big, do the big sweeper of the big C. So that was all awesome. I mean, that was better actually than I expected. The issues with it surprised me. I did not expect that I would have that lack of control at low speed. So really it did better at the sweepers than I thought it would do. It did much worse at the slower speed stuff than I thought it would do. So it was really the inverse of what I expected. But overall, I would say you're not going to use it. Now, if you are trying to get into the RC drift world and you're going to try to use this Radiolink built-in gyro for a rear-wheel drive drift car, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to end up upgrading gyros anyway. So I really can't recommend it, even after all of everything I've tried to do to try to get it to work. So we are going to jump over to the DumboRC and see if the programming and the logic within it happens to be a little bit better. All right, onto this DumboRC controller here installed. Steering works, throttle works, but again, gyro function is off. And eerily enough, and surprisingly enough, all of the things are the same. So if you want to turn the gyro on, you push the button 3 times. So confirming, yes, off camera, 3 button pushes turns the gyro on. It was then, just like the Radiolink, it was operating in the wrong direction. So 2 more button pushes reverses the direction. Sensitivity is controlled by this 6th channel up here. It does not go positive and negative. It is only 0 to 100. So all the way to the right is all the way up. All the way to the left turns the gyro completely off. So that's all we have to do. I did set my steering endpoints, centering, and everything else like that. From here, we are in good shape. So that just happened. So Radiolink, I've already put it over there, like $80 controller, fancy gyro in it supposedly, basically useless, can't even hardly drive it. like $40, maybe $45, $49 controller. Like literally so cheap that you can kind of throw it away. And it's built-in gyro, at least in my Sakura D5, paired with that RWD servo. It works. Like it actually works. Now, I mean, you saw that, hopefully I edit this in the video, you saw that I do spin out. Like it is not anywhere near as precise or controllable as the Futaba. Like there's no question, honestly. My ability to hit exact on marks, my ability to like throw it into a corner and it catch it and be able to still maintain that corner is not there. But this is a big call out to all the folks that I see who maybe still get the fancy controller as they're building their drift car, but they cheap out on these junk gyros. Dude, this gyro in this DumboRC is as good as some other drift gyros that I've driven. Honestly, hands down. It is as good as, I mean, I don't want to name names because I don't want to piss a whole bunch of people off, but I've used base level gyros from drift companies that don't work as good as this one. Literally people that are selling $30-$40 drift gyros. This works just as good as those that I've driven before. That's really surprising. Really surprising. Now, do I recommend that the drift world goes out and everybody throws away their drift gyros and buys this DumboRC? Of course not. Oh my gosh, the Futaba GYD 450 that I normally run, so much better. Yokomo, the DP V4 that people run, so much better. Like not even a question. But you know that on this channel, I'm all about helping people get into RC and trying it out for the first time. If you literally have nothing else to do and you can only afford this base setup, you can drift in your garage with it. It gets you started. Here's the only issue though, is once you get comfortable and you learn it, you're gonna end up junking the controller because it can't control either the Yokomo or the Futaba into the AVCS mode, which I'm a huge proponent of. It can't do that with the slow return to really help smooth out your drifts. It doesn't have that functionality. So if you maybe have another vehicle like a crawler, I run these in crawlers all the time, I run these in bashers all the time. This one's actually from my son and I's BattleBot, that we're combat robot that we're trying to build. So you can use it in a lot of other circumstances. It has limited capability going into the drift world, but gets you started at least. So I'm still going to be a big proponent of getting yourself a nice Futaba radio and running that GYD 450 gyro. Do not get me wrong, I am definitely a big proponent of that. But this cheapo combo right here, that has surprised me today. I have something else that I want to test with this before I'm done. I'm going to get to start working on that. I'm going to ask you to come over here, check out some of this other drift content that I've made. I have a lot of stuff over here, from tuning tips, ESC settings, how to set up the Futaba gyro, all that kind of stuff. Top 7 mistakes for folks getting into RC drifting. Come check out those videos over here, and I will see you in the next one. So thank you for all your support, and goodbye.